OG Xbox. Which, the fact that Xbox One ruined it is kind of a bummer, but I do like calling it the OG Xbox now. Because there's always that awkward moment where someone's like, on the Xbox One, referring to the original Xbox, and then they go, oh wait. What a fucking stupid-ass Microsoft with their naming conventions. Anyway, today we're playing Sid Meier's Pirates, which I think this is like the third re-release of this game or something. Sid Meier, the guy who makes all of these fucking games that, in terms of like concept, I love and adore, but they're just lacking a little bit of that quintessential personal touch that makes it just south of being like, yes, this is what I want. This is the perfect game. The fact that I'm playing this is the original disc. This isn't like a digital version or anything. I actually own the disc and I put it in my Xbox 360. But either the disc is fucked up or my 360's being like, oh god, the emulation. This is so difficult. So there's gonna be a little stuttering. And when I mean, like, in terms of the personal touch, I don't mean, like, you know, the fingerprints. This game's got, like, every game he does is very, like, this is something only that guy could have made, right? And you can tell when you play a Sid Meier game. When you play Sid Meier, like when you play XCOM or Civilization. What are other games that he's done? Civ, XCOM. Those are the newest ones, so those are the first ones that come up. A lot of Civ. Wow, there's been a lot of Civ games. Jesus Christ. It's mostly Civilization, apparently. Okay, all these lists suck, but you know what I mean. Like, you know one of his games that you play, so that's not what I'm talking about. We're gonna do Venture and start at 1640. Navigation, because I hate sailing against the wind so much. The problem with his games is, like, there's nothing wrong with them, but, like, the thing about them that's slightly, like slightly keeps them from being, yes, this is exactly what I'm looking for, is they're a little bit too distant. They're a little bit too removed, you know? They don't have that personal, you're in there. Immersion, that's the word I'm looking for, to it. Where it feels like you're actually involved. They all feel like Civ, where you're too zoomed out. You're from an omnipotent, all-controlling point of view. Kind of like clicking through menus and selecting units and sending them to different places. And that's good for Civilization, which is a strategy game and a 4X game. But when it's a game about being a pirate and living the life of a swashbuckling buccaneer, you want to feel like you're actually in there, like as a singular entity navigating through the world. And it kind of, like, it just doesn't have it. It just doesn't have that. It's like a Sid Meier gun. You're navigating menus, and you're too pulled out and distant. And the only times you're pulled in and actually centrally controlling your character, it's in very specified points. Which, of course, like, this game has so many different kinds of gameplay to it. Which I'm gonna try and show them all, but there's like a lot, to be honest. There's so many different kinds of gameplay in this game. And like, that's not a failing of the game, of course. Like, it's not like it did something wrong, and it makes complete perfect sense why the game is like this. Because this game was originally released at like, in like the fucking 80s or something like that on MS-DOS. Oh, usually they have a stupid daughter or something. See, like, this has all of the elements to a pirate experience that you would want, but it's too pulled out. I'm not playing as this guy walking through the bar talking to people. I'm navigating a menu where I pick who I want to talk to. I can choose to hover over the bartender and press A. You know what I mean? I'm not walking through the town. I'm navigating a menu that has an overview of the town and picking where in the town I want to go. Sloop is fine. What we want to do right now is get ourselves a better ship. I haven't played this game in a long fucking time. So that's Henry Morgan's ship, and it might be a bad idea to attack this guy right off the bat. But our ship's faster and smaller, which makes it a smaller target. Fuck. And which means we can just go ahead and hurry up and push right on in and board his ship. Yeah, there we go. This is a really dumb idea still, though. I'm probably gonna lose. Give me a rapier. Henry Morgan right off the bat was probably a stupid idea. Especially when his crew outnumbers us. Like, by an excessive degree. But, ah, shit. And we're done. Hooray! I beat Henry Morgan. My first act in the entire game was to whoop Henry Morgan's fucking ass. That bitch is dead. And I can take his ship and make it my main ship. So this game is... how do I change? Make flagship. I'll sell the sloop. Turn right back around. Ooh, you know what? Since we are a pirate, we don't exactly have a letter of marque for attacking the Dutch, but fuck it. I feel like attacking the Dutch, because fuck them. With a crew of 35. Oh, look at how much damage that did right out the gate. Queen Anne's Revenge is a fucking awesome ship. And immediately they surrender. That's what being a pirate is all about. Yeah, let's keep it so we can go ahead and just sell this ship too. It's actually usually a good idea to go ahead and just hold on to the ship so that you can immediately turn around and sell it. Or you can hold on to it and have a fleet. But, upgrade. And if we go talk to the governor, we will get a reward for taking out Henry Morgan. We get promoted. Because technically... she's ugly. Beat a hasty retreat. Fuck you with your ugly nose. Because technically we're a privateer. But you can't, like... Obviously, it's Sid Meier's pirates. So you can just go ahead and take the option. Oh shit, I didn't actually mean to attack the English ship, but that proves my point. Because what's more pirate than attacking a ship that you're supposed to be on the same side with? Or a privateer of the English throne, but we're attacking an English ship with way fewer crew than we fucking should have. I should have stopped at a bar. But the fantasy of wanting to play a game where you're playing as a fucking pirate. This game gets so fucking close to fulfilling that fantasy, to living up to that desire. This guy looks like the guy who recruited us in the first place. Fuck you. Oh, why would this happen? Fuck you, that ship turned out to be a bad idea. I mean, we mutinied the fucking English vessel. We might as well just become a pirate, right? It gets so close to fulfilling that fantasy of wanting to be a pirate. But, like I said, it comes closer than any other game I can think of. But the problem is, it's too zoomed out. It's not up close and personal enough. You don't really feel like it's you. That's another reason to hold on to a ship. You keep all the cargo. I was intending to attack the smuggler. It's just gonna run away, though, isn't it? Smugglers don't tend to prefer getting involved in personal combat. They're just a smuggler ship. Of course, their crew outnumbers us, so they're probably a little overconfident. See, it's stuff like that. We're doing a QuickTime event in order to even the odds between their crew and ours, for crying out loud. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. We're not actually fighting off their crew. We're being given a sequence of time button presses in order to have the numbers at the top of the screen go down. And the reason I'm like talking about this is because this is sort of like a case study kind of idea between the way this game does the whole pirate game thing compared to the next game that we're going to be talking about. And showing tomorrow? Yeah, let's take everything. Let the fucking ship sink. There we go. And let's go to Antigua. Maybe the governor there will have a better looking daughter. Go to the merchant and trade all our fucking junk. Go to the shipwright. Got that. Don't need that. Repair. Good. Definitely need to hire more fucking people. Sorry, I always go a little bit into fucking autopilot with this stuff. That's good to Montestrol. What'd he say? Someone's daughter is really hot.
Vindicated.
Ah, we didn't get shit. I used to play this game a lot back in the day, so I'm falling back into, like, instinct a little bit. Right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and touch down at different taverns and fill up my crew. We don't have nearly enough dudes manning the fucking stuff. What the fuck are ships called? I want to say the Bastille, but that's something different. Fuck. Anyway, I used to play this game a lot back in the day because I've always been thirsty for a game that satisfies that whole pirate fantasy type thing, right? Obviously. I mean, I feel like that's something that people in general have really wanted for a long time. I don't know why that keeps happening. These are new batteries. Yeah, see? Brand spanking new batteries. I don't know why I keep saying like that. And for a long time, this was the only game that really satisfied that itch. But it was always just slightly not good enough to really nail the fucking mark. What's the button? There it is. Let's go to San Juan. They're Spanish. We can raid the Spanish fleet. Let's go ahead and attack the town because we're assholes. And if we attack the town, that gives us the opportunity to go ahead and bump in with a different style of gameplay to show off. But first, fuck you guys. How do you change? There we go. Chain shot takes out their fucking sails, which will slow them the hell down. Man, we lucked out fucking wrecking Henry Morgan's shit right at the beginning of the game. You know that shit. Usually I just fucking sink the ships. But it's... you can argue it's a better idea not to. Yeah, okay. So our options are either to sneak into town, which is a different kind of gameplay, or we can attack the town, which turns it into a pseudo-RTS style of gameplay. Which, again, the fantasy of raiding a town, of attacking a port town, and, like, blowing away its defenses and raiding them of soldiers. And looting all the booty. That's such a, like, a distinct aspect of the pirate fantasy. Of rape and pillaging. But the problem is, it's just a sterile little turn-based strategy. Where you control your units and move them across the map spaces. And there's technically nothing wrong with that, but it's just a little bit of a bummer. That's a little bit too distant. It's a little bit not good enough to be what you would want from a pirate game to be. And also, I'm really bad at strategy games. This is bullshit. They're outnumbered. The smart thing to do would just be to turtle up in the forest and wait for them to throw themselves into the meat grinder. Attacking the native units isn't a good idea either. Ah, fuck you guys. How do I switch? Damn it! I wanted to switch targets, but I forgot. I forget how. Ah, they're fucking gun troops. We can go ahead and just clean these guys up. Yeah, fuck you. Fucking forests are such a good spot to hide in. Dang, that's a lot. All of my men are dead. Oh shit. Yeah, let's just attack them. Flank attack. Sure, we're just gun dudes, but if we hit them with our gun enough, maybe they'll fuck off. How do they have height and morale advantage? We're in the fucking we're in the fucking forest. Yeah, we fucking lost this shit so hard. That was a mistake. But you see what I mean? Like, this is a quintessential aspect of the pirate fantasy, is attacking a town and pillaging the town and raiding it for booty. And how does the game portray that with kind of a sterile... There we go. With kind of a sterile, drawn-back, distant, turn-based RTS experience. Not RTS. strategy game experience, where you move your units around on the map and try and drive off the defenders outside of the town walls. That's not really what you imagine. That doesn't satisfy the fantasy. Of course, again, it makes sense why it's designed this way, because this, when you get right down to it, is pretty much just an updated... Wow, I'm going fast. That's what I get for picking Navigator. Attacking you guys will make me feel better about myself. We still have 100 men, somehow. Look at how many fucking people that kills. Oh, fucking devastating. You guys have 5 men. Why don't you just give up? Ridiculous. How much you got? I don't need that much anyway. Because this is the style of gameplay that the original DOS game presented. It's really just an updated version of that original game released back in the fucking 80s. When really this was the expected style of gameplay. This is the only style of gameplay that they could manage to present. I mean, you're not gonna have a DOS game being capable of... This is clear piracy, by the way. Just attacking a ship for no reason. We don't have a letter of marque. We don't have any justification for doing this. Because to be a privateer, you had to have permission, basically. You had to get a letter of marque. So you're certified by the crown, basically being a paid mercenary fighting that government's enemies on behalf of their fleet without actually being part of it. Still a private vessel. So attacking ships for no reason, that's piracy. Attacking ships with government approval, that's acceptable somehow. So in terms of being a better, more advanced, technically and graphically upgraded version of the same game that was released on the DOS back in the 80s, or whatever kind of computer this was released on. It succeeds, and again, it comes the closest to satisfying the kind of pirate fantasy you would have. Where, yeah, you're fucking sailing around the South American key island. How do I fucking... Come on. Sail away. Come on. Oh god. Oh god. Ah, Bart Roberts is stuck. He's stuck in this trap, and now we're stuck along with him. Oh god. Oh no. He's stuck. Come on. There we go. Fucking Christ. That was weird. We're basically in the fucking shallows over here. Bart Roberts. So it makes perfect sense why it's the way it is. And it's not like it did a bad job. But, like, you can't help but want a little bit more. You know, you can't help but inherently be slightly unsatisfied by it not being able to fulfill to a higher degree what you would hope for from a pirate game. And when there's absolutely no other alternative, I mean, you take what you can get, and I feel like that's what it came down to for the longest time. It came down to, well, there's just fucking nothing else out there that does close enough to what this game was doing. A pirate haven. Fucking, why does that... That's happening on screen transitions. Talk to the captain. Why is this happening? That's consistently on screen transitions. I don't think it's my controller. We're giving him advice on who to go raid. We're saying, hey, go attack these guys. Might as well sail alongside them and see how it goes. Let's tag along and see what happens. That'll be funny. Plus, it'll give us a chance to actually see what happens when you're successful in your attempt to raid a town for some pillage and plunder, as a pirate would. You guys taking the scenic route or something? I'm already, like, super slowing myself down. You're not following me. I know that for a fact. Come on. This doesn't look goofy at all. Plus, again, it's too pulled back and distant. You're way far out. You're zoomed back. You're watching from a godly perspective. Yes. Hopefully this time I'll actually be successful. You're watching from a godly perspective as the ship that's way down there sails around the Caribbean. It's not you on the deck of a ship sailing the ship around through the Caribbean, as would, you know, that's what you would want from a pirate-y experience. It's a sim game. It's a pirate sim. And when that's your only option, that's it's like, I play this game all the time, because it was doing the thing I wanted, and nothing else out there was. Well, there was another game that came pretty close. There was a Pirates of the Caribbean game, like, movie tie-in game for the Xbox original. Like Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, like it was a tie-in game, but the cool thing about that game was, it wasn't just a tie-in game, it was a game that the people who were making it had already basically finished making it. And they slapped the Pirates of the Caribbean logo on top and added like 1 or 2 scenes of the Black Pearl showing up at one point in the story in order to connect the story, but it wasn't a game they made to be a Pirates of the Caribbean game. It was a pirate game they had made and then called it Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, the actual game that it was Sea Dogs 2. Unfortunately for me and everyone else in the known world, Sea Dogs 2, aka Pirates of the Caribbean Curse of the Black Pearl, for the original Xbox, is not backwards compatible. So unless you have an original Xbox to slap the disc into, let's flank these guys. See, I've played some strategy games before. Oh, they both retreated. One or the other. They're both hidden by fucking forests. And honestly, it was that game that came the closest to satisfying that desire for a pirate game. Sea Dogs 2 or the Pirates of the Caribbean game. Because it did a lot of those things that I've been mentioning, like, this game almost does it, but it's not, like, it's too pulled back, it's too simulated. It's too much of a Sid Meier's game and not enough of a pirate game. Oh wow, my dudes just got mowed down. Whereas Sea Dogs had you, like, playing as this dude and running around through the towns, actually walking from building to building, walking into the tavern, and going up to dudes and talking to them and recruiting them to join your crew and whatnot, and going to the shipwright and talking to them and having them talking to them to repair your ship or to buy new equipment and stuff like that. But you can't play it unless you have an OG Xbox, which is such a fucking bummer. Because that game really does come the closest to being the fucking pirate game that you would want out of life. You sacked the town of Pinted Grove! My town! You fucking dick! Yeah, I've got fucking plenty of money. So now we get a letter of marque from the French, and we still have one from the English. So we're a privateer for both. We can actually be a privateer for, like, all 4 nations if we want to. Yeah, see, we got a letter of marque. We're a captain for the English. You can get one for all 4. It's pretty fucking funny. And again, you see what I mean, where we just raided a town. We just fucking took that shit over, and then what happens immediately after the fucking cutscene of us hoisting the colors, hoisting the skull and crossbones? It immediately kicks us to the menu, where it says, hey, pick the menu option to go to the tavern, or choose the menu option to go to the merchant, right? And it's like, it's so close, but it's just not good enough. And then compare it to Sea Dogs 2, which does all of the stuff that this game is missing, but it's like, that's a really... you can't play it because it's fucking Xbox original only, or I guess, like, there's probably a PC version out there somewhere. Aw, poor baby, only 4 men. That's horrible. And if you look, they're actually floating around in the water, and if you sail your boat over on top of them, you can pluck them out of the water and they'll immediately join your crew, which is pretty fucking funny. Yeah, let's just keep attacking ships. Why not? That's always fun. This is what you want to do in a pirate game. You just fucking, hey, there's a ship that's got some shit, let's fucking attack them like pirates. Because that's what we do. And get in a big, drawn-out ship battle like this, where, oh, look at that, no one's on the ship anymore. Please let me sail over these guys. Boom, look, see, they immediately joined our crew. See, boom, it went from 110 to 111 because we sailed over on top of the guy who was floating out in the ocean because he got knocked out of the ship that we had shot at. And he immediately joined our crew. Okay, so instead... Man, that would be such easy pickings, wouldn't it? But instead of attacking the town, we could also sneak into town, which is a completely different style of gameplay. Look at this shit. It's fucking Metal Gear Pirates. And you have to run around this. I don't know if it's procedurally generated or not. That's what's really interesting, is like, this game's no slouch. It's definitely like, very adept at what it sets out to do. It's a very good sim game. Like, the fucking programming at work is, like, stunning. And it really is... I can't recruit some dudes? So this is kind of the main story. That's the cool thing about this game, though, is you can do whatever you want. You can completely ignore this guy, and you don't need to worry about, like, oh, where's my family? You can, like, you can pick whatever you want to do. You can go on a... Okay. You can go on a journey to try and avenge your family, which does not have a menu option, which I thought there was. But when we talked to that guy, he was like the fucking Spanish marquis who wronged your family, and you have to, like, do all of these different things on that map until you can, like, track him down, and you can try and rescue all your family members. Or you can say fuck it and completely ignore all of them and just decide to do whatever you want. Such as, you can try and... Where's the fucking list? That was a list. There. You can try and become the #1 fucking pirate in the Spanish Caribbean. We've already knocked off Henry Morgan, who is the normal #1. By either racking up enough gold and a kill-to-death count ratio in order to get to the top, or you can fucking become a pirate hunter and hunt down all of these famous pirates and fight them all, even though it's really weirdly anachronistic to suggest that Blackbeard, Bart Roberts, Henry Morgan, Captain Kidd, and John Lafitte were all active during the 1640s, which is ridiculous. You can dedicate yourself to one of the 4 nations here and climb the ranks and become a fucking admiral and sail through the Caribbean claiming all of these different towns and turn every port town in the Caribbean into an English or French or Dutch port town. It's like, it's this really impressive and interesting sandbox game. It's a pirate sandbox where you're just dropped into the Caribbean with a ship, and you can decide your own destiny and do whatever you want. And the programming behind what all of the different factions in the game do is very involved and detailed and interesting. Like, different... If you could... It's probably a fun experiment to, like, start in on the game and then just sit and do absolutely nothing and don't interact with anyone or anything whatsoever, and then just see what happens, because the 4 different nations will spontaneously go to war with each other on their own. And you can watch... I know there's a way you can change what flagship you're using while sailing. Yeah, like that. Where's the one that's got working sails? Ah, this is why I picked Navigator! Trinidad! No! Fuck. Come on. Come on. Come on. Which one's the smallest? This one. Fucking wind. Always holding us back. And every ship you see out and about sailing, including these 2, is sent out with a mission. All of them actually have their own programmed-in mission that they're setting sail out to do. They all originate from Port A, and their goal is to go to Port B, either as that one ship we just passed, as an invasion fleet to try and conquer a town on behalf of the English, in this case, or they're on a trading mission, and their goal is to carry cargo from wherever they are to wherever they're going. 10 gold? That's weird. Like, you can actually supervise and watch them go from point A to point B. You can collect fucking pirate treasure maps. That's so cool, right? Let's get some upgrades here. Hopefully this guy's got a hot daughter. I know, I'm super cool. There are benefits to wanting to get upgrades. Ah, you're super ugly. Bye. Give me a beautiful daughter so I can show off the dancing minigame. Martinique. Oh, hey, here's a pirate ship. Lodonals! Let's attack him. Blood debt. You will be mine, Lil Donalds! No. Ah, just barely hit me there. And it's really sophisticated and interesting and applaudable. But it's like, why can't you have the best of both worlds, right? Compare Sea Dogs 2, the fucking Pirates of the Caribbean game, where you're actually playing as the captain and you're walking around the deck of your ship and going up to the wheel. Actually, it doesn't even really do that. Like, you can go into your captain's quarters, but I don't think you can actually walk up from the port onto the deck of your ship up to the steering wheel and drive it out. And that's what you want. You want a pirate game where you can walk into town, go to the tavern, recruit some fucking men. We don't need more spice. We got so much fucking food. Guadalupe. And then going out to the port and hopping onto your ship. And setting sail, like taking hold of the fucking of the wheel. Do you have a hot daughter? No? Someone please have a hot daughter. There we go. We got a lot of men now, at least. And there's hasn't yet been a game that nails that. Arguably, because that's what I'm leading up to, is this is the game that comes the closest to being a pirate game. But it's too unpersonal. It needs to have that personal touch to really fucking actually satisfy and fulfill that fantasy. It has all of the pieces. It has everything that's needed. It has all of the, this is the cool shit you can do sailing around in the Caribbean as a pirate. You can, like, become a privateer. Like, it's an open world pirate game where you can choose your own destiny and decide whatever you want to do. There is a little bit of a main story where you're trying to rescue your family from the Marquis, but you can just totally write that off and just run around and do whatever the fuck you want. Like, literally whatever you want. It's actually insane the excessive and ridiculous degree of freedom you have to, like, whatever in this game. And that's the part that's awesome, but the part that's like, and that's why you come back to it. That's why you come back to play, because it's like, this is the game where you can just fucking do whatever you want in, like, pirate-ass fucking the Caribbean. Over, like, 100-year time span, also, which is pretty interesting. Like, you can start from 1600 and go all the way up to 1680. And I think the game ends at the 1700-year mark. Oh, there's a lot of ships going on here. And again, this is so close, because look, I'm in a fucking ship battle with two Spanish ships, and they're both being like, hey, fuck you. you pirate-ass motherfucker. I'm like, yeah, what up? Come on. And you crash into their ship and board it and raid it and take all of their fucking gold and cargo. But, like, you're all the way out here. This is the perspective you're interacting with this battle from. You're looking at it from this zoomed out God's eye perspective. And when it's over, you're just interacting with a menu and it's being like, yo, do you want to sink it or keep it? Or, bring it on, bitch. Hermione. And when you board their ship, oh god damn it. Fucking pirate hunters are always assholes. How do you switch? How do you switch what kind of buckshot? There we go. Oh, it's sailing away. Fucking hit and run tactics, piece of shit. And when you crash into them and board them, it does a fade to black and then goes to a loading screen. And then you transition to a rock, paper, scissors game, where you choose whether to go high, low, or middle with the ship's captain while watching some static animations of the crew fighting each other in the background. And that's just not what you want from the pirate game, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get what I mean. It has the freedom. It has the open world, just do whatever the fuck you want and live out your pirate fantasy in a completely open, dynamic world where you really can do whatever you want. But the method of presentation and the input that you have with it just leaves a little bit to be desired. You crave more than what it has to offer. And Sea Dogs came slightly closer. Sea Dogs didn't necessarily have all this freedom that this game does, but it did have the you're playing a pirate captain guy and you're running around. It was and I wish I could show that game, but like I said, I own it, but I'm not allowed to play it because I don't own an original Xbox, an OG, and it's not backwards compatible. So what you gonna do? Once again, you're stuck with this, or are you? I want to at least dance with a hot daughter and show that before we're done here. Fuck's sake, these fucking pirate hunters are so annoying. Sit still and die like a man. Ah, broadside and missed. Fucking shearing far away. This is actually close to what actual ship battles were like back in the day, though, at least. Not exactly. It's still a facsimile, but it's closer. There we go. Fuck you, pirate hunter-ass motherfucker. And it's gonna fade out before we have the opportunity to actually sail in and scoop up all of the different men and cargo that had been dropped. You don't have the real input of control, and that's such a fucking little bit of a bummer. It's a little bit of a bummer. It's a little bit not good enough to be the full experience. And you want a game that has the full experience. This game has the complete open wide do whatever you want, but it doesn't have the complete experience. Compare that to a game which has the experience, but not the freedom. And that's what we're gonna get into next tomorrow, is that game. 10 gold. So not worth it. Please at least have a hot daughter. There we go. She's good enough. She's not plain. She's not beautiful, but she's not... Oh, god damn it. I don't get to dance with her. I just want to dance with a hot daughter. Well, there's the last style... Not the last style of gameplay. There's also... Did I show them all? I wanted to show all the different kinds of gameplay. There's like ship combat, there's the rock, paper, scissors of the sword fighting, there's the RTS of raiding the town, there's the stealth of sneaking into town, and then there's a dancing minigame where you dance with the governor's hot daughter. And eventually you will be able to romance her enough to marry her, which is part of the complete, total freedom that the game offers. Where you can literally get married in this game. That's how much live the life you're getting out of this game. And I wanted to at least show that in order to close this out here. So we'll have to settle for an ugly-ass bitch if we want to show that. Come on. Come on. Why are you taking so long? This is why you pick Navigator, because sailing against the wind is a pain in the fucking ass. It takes so goddamn long. Okay, let's go ahead and hit Nevis. I think is where we started. Forget. Someone's got a daughter. Okay, yeah, she's ugly, but whatever. We'll take the invitation. So here's the last style of gameplay.
Sonrita?
It's a little bit of a rhythm game, where in this lower difficulty you get button prompts, but what's actually pretty fun is on the harder difficulty the button prompts go away, but you can still follow the directions that the daughter is giving you, where you can watch her hand motions, and she'll direct you which way to go. And if you follow them, you increase her heart. And I believe there's a little bit of timing to it, where if you do it at exactly the right moment, there'll be a little bit of a flourish, and that'll increase her affection towards you. Yeah, like that. So that means that we press a button at exactly the right moment. And by doing that, you get a little bit more increase to how much you're making her fall in love with your sick dancing skills. If you're good enough, you can probably get it to hit off with every button press. And again, on the higher difficulties, you only have the hand motions to go off of. Which is pretty fun. Again, like, every part of this game is very well done with what it does. With the way it's designed. There was so much skill put into it. But I'm being like, there's so much different options.
Oh, time fudge.
And all of it's done very well, but it's not the pirate game that you would want. In terms of like, yeah, I'm walking around, I'm being a pirate. The next game we're gonna play has that. And like, here's like the end result of, like, when you're sailing around, if you look in the upper left, the morale of your men is yellow, and it goes from bright green down to red. And you keep their morale up by having enough food, doing enough plundering. As long as you keep being a pirate, you'll keep their morale up. But eventually, they'll want their paycheck. Eventually, they'll be like, okay, we got all this fucking plunder, give us our cut. So you finally get the option to, okay, you finally have the decision to be like, okay, we're going to divide the plunder. Everyone gets their share, and as the captain, we get a 20% share, and that increases depending on your difficulty. The hardest difficulty, you get a 50% share. You get half the loot right off the top. But the difficulty is really hard, so fuck it. And when you do so, each man eagerly takes a small fortune of 81 doubloons. And the amount of money they get is depending on how much crew members you had, right? And then the implication is off-screen, you're living it up, and then you're like, okay, let's get back out there. And then at any point in the game, it's up to you. You decide when. You can say, okay, we're done, and retire from pirating. Eventually, you will also retire of old age, depending on when you started the game. But if you want, you can just go, fuck it, I'm done. And depending on how well you did at the game, you get a different ending, where did you save your family? How rich were you? Did you become the #1 pirate? What was your rank in the government that you pledged loyalty to? Did you get married, etc., etc.? You retire at age 18 in excellent health. You did not marry, and it's all... You're unable to rescue any members. And the Marquis is still out there. Yeah, you can retire as a fucking pauper, which is pretty funny. Accumulated 5,000 gold and 750 acres of land, with modest luxuries and a pleasant house near the edge of town. Make you the 6th most notorious pirate. And again, the ending is depending on how well you did throughout the game. So, like, this game, for a long time, I was like, yeah, but now, even though the next game I'm gonna show doesn't have the fucking pure, open sandbox of freedom this game does, it actually got a little bit closer to nailing the fantasy of being a pirate. And we'll see that next time.